Welcome to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Fit Dalton. As we process this loss, I don't think anyone from Dub Nation wanted a Game 7. As exciting as they are, the fact that the Warriors had won 3 straight games coming into this game, had all the momentum, brought it to Chase Center where they played so well, and then had this kind of loss, a 19-point loss, their worst at home this season. The main question post-game was, are you surprised by this? I'm going to ask you the same question. Are you surprised?
It's hard not to be, right? I mean, look, the Warriors are going to a Game 7 and they have nobody to blame but themselves. This was a complete letdown in every aspect that we could talk about. So yeah, of course you'd be surprised because you felt like this was a veteran team. This was a team that maybe figured the Kings out a little bit, that finally had that experience on their side. And the fact that we were going to go full throttle in Game 6, close it out, give themselves a little bit of a break. But no, quite the opposite. Again, they have nobody to blame except for themselves. From start to finish, the Kings are the better team tonight. Yeah,
and you know, just thinking about the emotional roller coaster of this series, the Kings taking the first 2 games at Golden 1, then the Warriors winning 3 straight games. Now things go back to Golden 1 for Game 7. So listen, if I were standing away from this as a basketball fan, I would be like, oh yeah, give me a Game 7. But you never know what's going to happen. So how have you seen the Warriors navigate this emotional roller coaster? And do you have any feelings about what Game 7 might be like?
I wish I did, right? Yeah. If I could go into a crystal ball and say this is what it's going to be, I would love to. This would be a great show if I could do so, right? But again, it's such a you don't know what could happen, right? And that was kind of the point of avoiding the play and all of that, right? To give yourself a series. And that's why I was so surprised tonight, because they made in-series adjustments. I think both teams can feel like they could have already ended the series, right? But I think the Warriors especially see some of the missed opportunities in those first 2 games. But it felt like they really started to figure it out, had it clicking, had the defensive intensity that they needed, were fighting on the offensive glass. All the things that lead to winning the playoffs is what they were doing the last 3 games. And all of that fell apart tonight at Chase Center. A big, giant surprise to me.
Well, the Warriors came out very sluggish. And for me, that was surprising because we had just spent the end of Game 5 talking about this is Game 6. Yes, the end of Game 5, talking about how the Warriors' poise and their experience in the fourth quarter held off the Kings' push at Golden 1, so the Warriors gave themselves an opportunity to win tonight. If you're going to talk about poise and experience coming into this game, and then you see the way that the Warriors were sluggish all night, what did Steve Kerr say? The Kings were the aggressor from the start. How does that happen to a defending champ? There's a huge letdown element here, not just surprise, but just like what did we just see, and how concerned should we be about it? What were the areas where you saw the Dubs sluggish?
Everywhere. Honestly, I mean, I'm not even trying to exaggerate too much because it really was everywhere. It felt like it was too much watching as far as loose balls go. I mean, we saw the way that the Kings dominated them on the glass. The Kings had 18 offensive rebounds. I mean, they dominated them in second chance points. They dominated them on the glass, like I said. They had more blocks than them. Everything that, again, goes to these hustle stats, that's where the Kings were the aggressors. You know, that there was no energy from the Warriors, from the building, and we could blame this 5 p.m. tip-off all we want on a Friday night.
I'm not going to.
No. Thank you, right?
No,
I knew you wouldn't.
No, but you need to be ready to play.
I'm saying in general, no, whether it's the players, whether it's fans, everything. The energy was lacking everywhere, right? And that's, again, where you would think that with this veteran leadership, they can spread that for everyone as far as we need to close the door right now. And you're going, all of a sudden, you're in an 8-0 hole with multiple turnovers and sloppy possessions right away, you know, and you just can't put yourself in that kind of early hole. You can't afford that.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at sluggishness, in Game 5, the Warriors shot 52% from the field. Here, they shot 37%. The Kings had 99 possessions, the Warriors 85. You could just go left to right on the box score. You could see it in the free throw attempts. The Warriors missed 10 free throws.
10 free throws.
Steph Curry, I always look at him, what's in his legs. He missed 3. That's a weird game for Steph.
Very weird.
That is really strange. So the whole thing just felt off tonight. And then, guys, as we were looking at halftime or maybe even the end of this game, coming off a game in Game 5 when the Warriors had 4 20-point scores, you looked at who was scoring tonight, and the Warriors just needed more. They got their points from Steph and from Clay, but secondary scoring was an issue.
Oh, big time. I mean, it felt like there was like a help wanted sign for the Warriors looking for that. I mean, truly, you look
where
at
are they going to get it from?
Jordan Poole missed his first 6 shots. Andrew Wiggins missed his first 5. And neither could get going after that by any means. They didn't have flow. They didn't have rhythm. You know, once I saw Wiggins starting to attack, I felt like, okay, he can get it going a little bit. But it just wasn't a continuation of it. And Jordan was just... He was a little out of control again, where we know his speed can be such a weapon for him, but it can be a detriment at the same time, where he's able to get to the hole. We saw it multiple times, but it's not where he's under control and fighting his way through for strong layups. He was getting blocked tonight. He was falling out of bounds on those kind of layup attempts. All of that, right? Where then again, you look at the Kings, and it's Malik Monk, Trey Lyles, Kevin Herter, Keegan Murray. They had the secondary scorers helping out a De'Aaron Fox. Even when Domantas Sabonis wasn't getting going, all those 4 guys to help De'Aaron Fox, that's the difference right there.
Yeah, when Sabonis is in foul trouble, you think, hey, this could be a great opportunity for the Warriors. They've done well slowing him down in this series, and when he's in foul trouble, he can't be on the court to be the fulcrum of the offense the way he likes to be. However, you're exactly right that the Kings bench comes into play right there. The bench disparity, 52 points for the Kings, 21 for the Warriors. And it was quiet for Wiggins, for Poole, for Dante. I'll say it was quiet for Draymond just because he's coming off that 21-point game. I don't expect him to hit 10, 12, 14 points. But when Draymond has been a scorer in this series, it does show up that the Warriors didn't have many guys in double-digit scoring. You've got 20 from Steph, you've got 20 from Clay, and then Andrew Wiggins comes through at the end for 13. That's more than 20, not exactly. But yeah, scoring was tough in this game. Even looking at the Kings having 17 threes to the Warriors' 10, there's some backward stuff happening in this game. This one is not going to sit well for them. The good part is there's a quick turnaround, so maybe getting to play on Sunday, less than 48 hours, how much time do they have to be angry about this outcome?
Oh, they should have, honestly, no more time to truly think about it, right?
Yeah.
You can be angry at the start. You know, you can be angry in the locker room after this, but it has to be a quick memory as far as this goes. I mean, some of the stats that you just rattled off right there, a 21-point difference from three-point range, right? Like, that's huge. The fact that Steph Curry was starting to have a little bit of a mini takeover in the fourth quarter. I believe he scored 11 of his 29 points in the fourth quarter. Klay Thompson was held scoreless in that fourth quarter. He had 22 points through the third quarter, and you start to feel like, okay, they're down by double digits right now. But if those two guys collectively can get going, and then that opens things up for a Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, etc. But that just didn't get. That just never happened, truly, right? So, again, very, very, very short time to let this digest. You got to move on quickly. We got a midday game on Sunday, so the Warriors, this is where, whether it's a talk, whether it's just a mindset, whatever that veteran presence can provide right now, it has to be quick and flush this down the toilet in a hurry.
Yeah. All right. Well, post-game, we know Steve Kerr's going to talk. Good guy Kevon Looney came to talk. And then after that, I don't think a lot of guys want to talk about this game. You can only sort of tell the temperature of the team based on who comes to the podium. So with that in mind, with that in mind, we've got to go to some Kingstown. Malik Monk actually said some really interesting things heading into Game 7, including who was the pressure on, what kind of adjustments the Kings made, and how they're feeling bringing this thing back to Golden One. So here is Malik Monk.
Just how good did you see the shots go down for you guys tonight, especially Kevin, who's been fighting through, and you had some big moments as well?
It was great, man. Especially seeing Kev hit a couple shots, especially in the crunch time, too. Trey stepped up big. TD stepped up big. I'm going to just continue to attack, so I don't care if my ball going or not. I'm going to just continue to attack the rim and set my teammates up. So it was good seeing those guys hit shots.
Malik, Jake Aiden from CBS 13 over here. I asked you yesterday, what did desperation look like for this team today? And you said, we'll see. Was this the desperation you were expecting, and what does a Game 7 back at G1C mean to you?
Yeah, this is exactly what I expected, and I expect a little bit more from both teams in Golden One. So we're going to be prepared.
You guys really went small, changed up the rotation, spread the court more. What did that do?
Oh yeah, man! It just opened the court for me and Fox. It opened everything up for us, and we was able to spray, make plays, and just hit shots, man. And that was big for us.
Brendan Nunez, Kings Herald. I think last game, Golden State had 60 points in the paint on just around 70% on those shots. Today was 36 for them on 18 of 45. What do you feel like led to that difference?
The pocket. We limited them getting in the pocket, and we limited shots at the rim too a lot. That was the big emphasis. And Draymond had a big game last game, and if we knew if we held him. We knew if we held him to not having a game like that, it'll be a chance that we win, and that's what happened.
Malik, Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. There was some big contribution in the rebounding department. Trey Lyles, I think he had 11. Keegan had 12, and that was a big help, with Sabonis being in foul trouble. Can you talk a little bit about, that gang rebound that you guys been talking about all season?
Yeah, man. Looney been killing us this whole series, man. Yeah, I think he had like 20 back-to-back rebound games, and that was just the emphasis. Trey said he was going to hit him, and we just had to come back and get the rebounds. And like you said, Keegan had 12, Domas had 12, 11. So, man, yeah, it was big. Trey had 10, too. So, yeah, we're gonna need that from those guys.
Hey, Malik. Colin Ward, Henninger, CBS Sports. I know you guys have confidence as a team and you had a great regular season, but you don't really know how a team's going to perform in the playoffs until they get there. So to have, a potential closeout game on the Warriors' home floor, what was the vibe around the team, and how do you think you're able to maintain your composure when the Warriors were going on their runs and things like that?
Having a coach like Mike, having vets like HB, Domas, Deli, they've been through the situation before. They've been through things like this, and we haven't. So just leaning on those guys, and they just helping us getting the spots, and Fox being Fox. So we're going to continue to lean on those guys.
Hi, Malik.
All right, nice to hear from Malik Monk. Before we leave Monk, there's one more thing that he said. I just want to make sure that we hit that, and this is coming to us courtesy of Anthony Slater. Malik Monk said, "We knew we could run them. It felt a little bit more on them. They were a little tired," Monk said, of the Warriors. "We're younger than they are. We're going to try to do the same thing on Sunday." So if that's their strategy, to see if they can tire out the Warriors, make them sluggish again, the Warriors have to be prepared for that.
Oh, that's definitely an eye-opener. I mean, you look at the fast break points. The Kings doubled the Warriors in that tonight. They had 8 more points in the paint. They were getting up and down the floor. There were even times when, the Warriors would miss a shot or be frustrated by a quote-unquote missed foul, by any means, and they would look, and Steve Kerr's going, get back, because De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, these guys are going to put their heads down and go.
Yeah, they're
you
very quick.
cannot waste any time with this team, right? So, again, Steph Curry has had to play 41 minutes. Klay Thompson has had to play 39 minutes in the past. Tonight you see a rookie in Keegan Murray play 45 minutes. Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox, all these guys, they looked fresh, they looked spry, and, that's where you have to go, okay, can the Warriors find this veteran experience and beat any of this change in direction as far as being 33, 35 compared to being 23, 25, right? So will be very interesting to see with only one day in between like that in a midday game. Yeah. So that could, again, any little advantage that the Kings can find, they're going to try to take advantage of it like we talked about. They wanted to strike first, strike second, strike third, and finish it off. They were down by 2 after the first quarter. They outscored the Warriors by 22 points after that. That is, again, talk about having a little more wind in you. It looked like the Kings had that.
Yeah, they did. And this is the first time I can recall in this series hearing age mentioned so explicitly, actually, that we are younger, they are older, and the Kings feeling like they have the edge there, whereas the Warriors would say, well, age is just experience. All right, we just got word that Klay Thompson sat down on the podium. So coming up on Dubstock Live, brought to you by FitAid, we will hear Klay Thompson trying to process this loss and what it means to take a bus ride back to Sacramento for Game 7. That's on the way.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by FitAid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. FitAid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Hey everybody, we are back on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for saying hello. Shannon explaining a golden opportunity to close out on the home court truly missed. Yes, for fans, a Game 7 is exciting. For players who had a chance to close it out, especially defending champs with all of their experience, this is bad. You do not want to. You never know what's going to happen in a Game 7.
No, exactly. And I think Steve Kerr always says he doesn't like to rank things, things like that, right? But you look at just last game, that might have been what finally seemed like the Warriors' best win of the season, like a complete team win, right? And then you look at tonight, and it's just kind of the opposite. And you go, how does that flip that quickly? And how can, again, in not much time in between, how can you find whatever you had that game? How can you go, okay, wasn't here for Game 6, but we got to find that for Game 7. So whether that's within, whether that's film work, whatever it might be, the Warriors have to find that, because just two different teams.
Yeah, this looks like a test of leadership, and I'm even going to rope in Steve Kerr for that one, because when you talk about the Kings being the aggressor from the start, that's a surprise. Why weren't you ready to play? It's not anything regarding the clock or the schedule or anything like that. How do you come out so sluggish in a series clinching game when you could have done yourself a favor by just putting this thing to sleep? So leadership have to be whipped into shape to get ready for Game 7. And I don't even think that means a lot of speeches. I think the players will find that in themselves.
Oh, I agree, yeah.
But how come they didn't have it today?
That's, again, it's a question that they have to be able to go home, look in the mirror, ask themselves, flush it, and move on.
Yeah,
right?
This has been the Warriors season.
Truly, truly. Great point.
What's the level of disappointment to not finish this off at home, knowing you got a quick turnaround for Game 7, it's on the road again? What's the emotion right now?
Well, when I said that was the best win of the season, on Game 5, this was probably the worst loss of the season. But, I mean, there's no time to hang our heads. I didn't play very well tonight. 3 turnovers, minus 28 is awful. Luckily for us, we still have another crack at it, and I still have absolute belief in this team that we can go get it done on the road. It will be a tall task, but we are up for it, and I know we will respond.
Clay, I have 2 questions for you. The first, Steve talked about how he was really trying to harp on just be ready for the level of aggression that the Kings were going to be playing with, the desperation. Do you feel that you guys were ready for that?
I mean, I don't think so. We let them get out to an 8-0 lead, and we had a lot of miscommunication in transition, too many easy layups for them. They beat us up on the boards. So it's up to us to go to Sacramento and do everything we did tonight but opposite, and I know we will respond. I just know this team. I know these guys. I've played at the highest level with them, and I know what we're capable of, and we will respond like the champions we are come Sunday.
My second question, as a fellow shooter, as a mentor to a young guy like Jordan, what do you tell him, when he's having a game like this where it's just not falling?
We've all been there. Like, I've had terrible slumps during the playoffs, Olympics, at the highest level. Jordan's only 23 years old. Like, we lose as a team, we win as a team. So it wasn't on just JP tonight. I mean, he could come out and get 30 effortlessly on Sunday. So he just got to keep his confidence up. I mean, he's a great player, and he helped us win a championship last year. And if we want to do that again, he will do the same this year. So it's up to us to come in with the right mindset on Sunday and empty the clip.
Clay, the energy level seemed kind of low in the building with the team, and I'm just wondering, do you think it had anything to do with the time of the game, the quick turnaround? Or is there anything you can do to combat that? You have less than 48 hours turnaround this time.
Yeah, just realize that we're trying to defend our throne, and we're human. We've had plenty of bad losses on this dynastic run we've been on. but this is not the fourth loss of a series. This is the third, and it's first of four. So we're right there, and we know we can go get one on the road. And as a basketball player, especially an NBA player, you cherish moments like the one we have coming up as far as the Game 7 in the playoffs. I know I will, and I know the rest of the guys will.
All right, let's talk about something Clay touched on. He said we have to keep Poole's confidence up, which sort of indicates to me that it is clear that Poole is struggling in this series. In this game, you look and he was 2 of 11, and then I was adding up all of his three-point shots in this series. He's shooting just 24%, 7 of 29. We know Poole is capable of more. Do you think there could be some Game 7 changes that could help him with his confidence or help him feel more comfortable?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, throughout the game, you saw Kevon Looney talking with him, Draymond Green trying to talk with him, Andre Iguodala talking with him. But it's the simple little things. When they were in this scoreless drought right from the start, one thing that really stood out to me was he's going downhill. The trail player is Klay Thompson, who's open at the three-point line, and Jordan instead tries to go kind of for a little bit of an out-of-control layup. And you got to know who's on the court with you. And again, I go back to his speed, where it could be a weapon, but sometimes from the outside looking in, it looks like he also doesn't pick one thing to do with the ball in his hand, right? Where it's, okay, where am I going next? You know, and just to simplify things down, find that trail player, slow it down a little bit, all of that. Where, look, tonight was his fewest points scored in a start the entire season with only 7, but it's a 2 of 11 that stands out, right? The inefficiency. So he doesn't have to score 25, 30 points every game, but it's making the smart plays, being efficient with the ball, all of that, that's going to make him such an impactful player because he's a score-first player, an offense-first kind of player. So again, the little things that make not him better, but the entire Warriors team better.
Yeah, on a night where Jordan Poole struggles, I immediately look at the turnover column. Only one in this game. But you just saw that highlight reel, or unfortunately a low light reel for Jordan, where he's getting stuffed by the rim, or when he's trying to go for these circus layups through 3 defenders. Some of that decision-making is on him. You mentioned that there's a trailer behind him, or he does play at such an incredible speed. What if he slowed it down just a little bit? So these are the calculations you've got to make in that split second. You know Jordan wants to contribute to this team. He contributed last season to the championship run, but this has been a tougher series for him.
Oh, it really has. And again, they always, after a tough game for him, say, we want Jordan to be Jordan. I asked Kevon Looney that same question after the game as far as, what the message is. And we just saw Klay Thompson kind of say pretty much the same thing. Like, we know they can win with Jordan. They've done it on the biggest stage last year. Jordan Poole was definitely a product of them winning the championship as well. We know that, right? So it's just it's balancing everything with Jordan, whether that means the good with the bad or whatever it might mean, right? But it's all about balance with him. And I think that if they can show just certain little clips of, hey, you are so great at this, take advantage of this sometimes. Hey, you're a little bit too far ahead here. Slow this down or get this a little more under control, and we're all going to be better for it, right? So I think that's it with Jordan. I never doubt that he can have a big game, fall-in game like this for sure. He's a big time competitor. He always puts the work in, no doubt about it. So they want him to be Jordan Poole. It's just, again, finding the balance, finding the right scales for not tipping one way or the other when it comes to Jordan Poole.
And something for Jordan Poole this season, he's been asked to do a lot. Sometimes it's as a starter, sometimes that's coming off the bench. So to consider in a Game 7, a do-or-die situation, maybe Draymond goes back in the starting lineup. Maybe Jordan is coming off the bench. We just don't know, but we will find out pretty soon because on Sunday, that game is at 12:30. Okay, let's look ahead to that game and what the environment might be like at Golden 1. Do or die. I'm hoping this is not our last game here at Chase Center. We'll talk about it when Dubs Talk returns.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Fit Aid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. Fit Aid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Hey guys, we're back on YouTube. Lots of people understandably in their feelings about this one. With some thoughts about Poole. The T word is coming up, trade. Listen, I understand why you're frustrated, but the Warriors will not trade a guy. They just signed to an extension. It's not going to happen. He's one of their foundational six, as they say. He's only 23 years old. Lots of room for improvement. Jordan Poole will be a Warrior next season. There's no trade coming. I don't even have a question there. Just kind of more of a statement. Listen, I know you're frustrated, but he will be a Warrior next season. Oh, we've got Rebel saying hope and pray. We have some people in their feelings about what hope kind of means. Thank you, Eric. I see your comment as well. Yeah, people are wondering, where's Kuminga? Why isn't he playing a little bit more? When it comes to Kuminga, I was wondering why he isn't playing a little bit more when the Warriors are searching for some answers. Do you think, because if the Kings don't have a lot of rim protection, well, couldn't JK feast in that situation? But Steve Kerr is seeing something that he doesn't want Kuminga on the floor.
Yeah, I just haven't seen any trust from him, and the little times that he has been out on the floor early on in the series, simply put it just wasn't great. Yeah, I mean, he looked a little out of control. He looked a little bit lost, taking some shots that aren't truly in his comfort zone. So it'll be interesting to see if, with Malik Monk talking about the age difference, if they need a boost, and it might be 30 seconds, might be 2 minutes. If JK can give him that, that's something to watch for, but I'm not expecting it by any means as far as this series goes.
Yeah, well, one of the things we've talked about with Kuminga is that he doesn't necessarily need to be a scorer, but he needs to protect the rim and he needs to rebound. And if he hasn't been doing that in previous games, they're All right, everybody, we are back. Game 7, Sunday at 12:30. You can see it right here on NBC Sports Bay Area. It all comes down to this. We were thinking, gosh, this can't be the last game at Chase Center. Can it? No, it can't. It can't be. The Kings are thinking, well, hey, this thing is moving to Golden 1. We love the environment there. And as you assess how the Kings must be feeling after this game, the pressure is not on them. I mean, people were predicting low expectations for them this season. I think even to finish last in their division. They've come through every step of the way. So put yourself in the Kings' shoes. How are they feeling for Game 7?
Oh, I think they're feeling great, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that they're going, hey, we got this in the bag by any means.
No, they can't do that.
But I think that they have to be feeling really, really good about themselves to answer the call like they did tonight in Chase Center. You talk about a momentum booster, a confidence boost, big time for the Kings. So, again, they have to be feeling very good about themselves going back to home. We know it's going to be one wild environment at Golden One Center with some rowdy Kings fans.
The cowbells. I had a really hard time with the cowbells. But listen, hey, Kings fans, good for you. Man, the crowd really does play a factor. The Warriors have to know that. The Warriors got to look at some of the adjustments the Kings made in this game. What adjustments will the Warriors have? The chess match continues. Game 7. Thank you guys for watching Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by FitAid. Well, we'll extend the conversation on a new episode of the podcast coming up. All right. No, I gotcha. Back on YouTube. The Warriors should have played like the Lakers are playing right now. Oh, crap. What is the score in that game?
I think the Lakers are up big.
Can somebody throw that in there? Yeah, we wanted to keep an eye on that one. Key's saying, wish they played GP2 and Moody more. Hey, you have a point right there. They love GP2 on the floor for the defense. Moody stepped in. There was a play where he stepped in for Clay, immediately hit a three-pointer. I feel like Moody is deserving of a little bit more time. It's just, the coaches have to find a spot for him. Maybe when they're looking for some scoring, they say, all right, young man, step in, hit your threes. I don't know.
A career-high 3 steals also for him.
Oh, good point.
In this game, we talked about the energy. I thought that Moses Moody really was the one who brought the most energy for the Warriors. I thought Dante DiVincenzo didn't have a phenomenal game, but he at least was bringing that energy also. But really, Moses, he's had a really good series. I really think that. You talk about someone who has been up and down and in and out, had to go to the G League for a little bit, out of the rotation, multiple DNPs. This is like example A of everyone calling him stay ready, praising his maturity, all of that. So Moses Moody has answered the call, stepped up big time for sure. And that's what's so interesting going forward with Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
They both kind of go up and down and kind of teeter between those two, right? So Moses Moody has definitely been, showing who he can be in the present and the future. So he brought the energy. Now it's everyone else needing to bring it for Game 7.
Yeah. All right, people put the score in there. The Lakers are up huge, 70-47 right now.
Gosh.
You know what was also kind of crummy to see in this game was the Warriors waving the white flag, and they had to. The Kings had that kind of a lead. But about the 3:45 mark in the fourth quarter, the starters sat, so they got a little bit of rest, the tough way that you get rest. I'm glad this wasn't a game where Steph had to play 40 minutes, but that was surprising. I keep coming back to that word. To see that in a Game 6, a clinching game for the Warriors, they couldn't get it done. So I'm glad some of the reserves got some minutes, but I didn't like to see that either.
No, I mean, look, winning 4 straight games is really, really hard. The Kings hadn't had a 4-game losing streak since literally the first 4 games of the season. Every time that they've had a 3-game losing streak, I think it was only 2 times previously this season, they won the 4th, right? So this is a resilience Kings team. Mike Brown knows how to put confidence in his players. The Warriors know that very well. But again, the fact that it was a clinching game, a Game 6 at Chase Center, it was a shock.
Yeah.
It really was a big-time surprise to me, and I think everyone's feeling it. From top to bottom, from the fans here to the media to the players, we're all kind of a little bit baffled by what we saw.
Yeah, and hey, let me make a correction. NBC Sports Bay Area has you covered for Game 7 pregame. Our pregame starts at 11:30. 12:30 is the tip-off. This is going to be a national game because the series has been so good, but we still have you covered with pregame coverage, postgame coverage, Dubstock Live, podcast, etc., etc. All right, that's it for me and Dalton. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you on Sunday.